What's up, y'all? How are you? Hope you're well. Hope everything in your life is going well. Welcome on into 10 at 3. It's 10 at 3 time in Tennessee. Wes Rucker coming to you here. Recording this on Thanksgiving morning, but this is delivered fresh to you, fresh on Black Friday. Is it technically? I guess technically it's not the catch of the day if it was caught just the day before. It's the catch of yesterday. It's the catch of yesterday. So it's, for instance, better seafood than you're getting in like the Midwest probably, but still not like you're sitting there on the Gulf or you're sitting there on the ocean. Regardless, I hope your Thanksgiving was great. I hope you're enjoying. If you're anything like me right now, you're probably on your second turkey and sweet potato or ham and sweet potato sandwich. That is a Thanksgiving and Black Friday tradition of mine. Big fan of those. And I know some of the questions that we got in this mailbag episode are about Thanksgiving foods. I'm guessing they are. I haven't looked at them beforehand, but I'm guessing there will be Thanksgiving food questions in here because there should be, because it's that time of year. In here again with Maddie, Mad Dog Duval. What's going on, Maddie? How are you back there?
I'm doing great.
That's better than bad.
Yep.
That's great.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I don't know. I know how you're doing right now. I don't know how your Black Friday is going, but hopefully, have you got like, are you like a Black Friday strategist? Do you map things out, or you just sort of poke around and see?
No, I'm mostly an online shopper now.
But that's kind of the same. Now,
Yeah,
they used to do Cyber Monday, but it's all kind of the same thing
it's
now.
All, something I've noticed this year is that Black Friday now starts like 2 weeks before actual Black Friday. Yes. It's just peak consumerism. And so I've kind of just been looking around. I don't think I really strategize it, but actually, you know what? The more I talk about it, I guess I do, because I usually buy all of my gifts because they're all on sale. Yeah. So
best time too.
But tomorrow, Black Friday, I will be, because we're recording this on Thanksgiving, I will be decorating my house.
Yeah,
for Christmas and doing lights and things like that.
I've had a hard and fast rule in my life that Christmas stuff does not go up until Black Friday.
I agree.
And the reason that I do that is because Thanksgiving is an awesome holiday. Say what you will about the history of it and all that. It's another topic for another day. But in terms of like just what it's come to mean, we all have a million things to be thankful for. And we get to spend time with our family. If family comes in from out of town, or you go see family out of town, you know, you got your parents and for me, it's parents, siblings, cousins, dogs, everybody, you know, messing around, playing football, jumping in the leaves, eating a bunch of food, being around each other. And that, it's not like you can't do that if there's Christmas decorations up, but like the second Christmas decorations go up, it's just Christmas time. Yeah. And you haven't even had Thanksgiving yet. And that is... I sound like an old man saying that, but
I understand people who do put. I'm not a hater either way. If you want to put them up, go ahead and put them up.
You do you.
I like Thanksgiving, actually, not really because of the food. I'm not really that big of a foodie. I mean, obviously, I appreciate a good meal, but I enjoy it because it's just a cozy holiday, I think.
Yes.
My thought of Thanksgiving is like chilling on the couch. Like my family is, I don't know. We never really traveled for it. So we would just kind of stay in like lounge clothes all day and just watch football all day.
I ate Thanksgiving in sweatpants every day. Some people do like the eat in jeans or nice stuff and then put on the sweatpants afterward. No. The key is eating in sweatpants.
It's
that way
chill.
You don't have to like change pants and see how large your gut is while you're doing that. You know, you don't got to change clothes. You're just already in, like, you feel less disgusting, I think, if you just start the day being a little disgusting.
Yeah.
That's what I think anyway. But of course, and I said everything I just said, and yet when an adorable 3-year-old asks you to put up the Christmas tree a week before, you do it. So our house is Christmased the freak out already.
Oh, that's crazy that yours is and yours.
And I'll be honest with you, I don't like it. I don't care for it. And I have lights and a Christmas tree that I'm bringing in for the sports office here.
Oh, that's cute.
But I've not undone them. Yeah, I like morale. If Elijah Nixon is the minister of vibes, I'm the minister of morale. And so I try to keep the morale high back there. Because we're working a lot over the holidays. You know, sports is different because, you know, it's
This time of year is so busy.
Yeah, and really throughout the year, it's winter games. Winter games of sports mostly played when people are not working, weeknights and on weekends. So our hours are different, and at times around the holidays, it can get really hectic because your family's doing everything and you're missing some of it, and it's you know what you're signing up for, but still it affects you. And so if we're in here for the holidays, by God, we're going to have good morale. So I'm putting up some Christmas stuff in the office. And so, but I didn't put it up yet. Like, it's going to go put up now that, not today because it's Thanksgiving, but tomorrow, as you're listening to this today, are you confused yet? That's when we're going to have our Christmas tree and our icicle Christmas lights there. I might even bring in my my light up penguin. I might even do that. I might do it. I call him Kingwin. He's a big, ridiculous light up penguin, and he's got a Cubs chain on. That's who. That's that. I might bring him. I might. But yeah, I don't love having all the Christmas stuff up early. But when a 3-year-old who's blonde and very adorable begs you, you give in. That's what you do. You talk a big talk. Oh, strut around. Oh, not in my house. And then a really adorable child says, Dad, can we do that? And you can't say no. It's not like he's saying, can I have like a 5th scoop of ice cream? Where you can be like, no, you're going to get sick. But if it's like, can we put the Christmas lights up? Mommy said we can't put them. Mommy said that you said we can't put them up yet. I'm like, oh, okay. So Mommy's already set this argument up as, guess who the bad guy is here? So you can't, because that's what, being a parent, I've learned this. It's a half of it, at least, it's a secret battle between you and your spouse to be the parent that is loved more. It's a very covert, it's like a Mr. or Mrs. Smith situation, but with getting your kid to at least like you more. But that means that sometimes you still got to be bad cop, and when you do, you're giving up points there. So you have to, you got to, hey, I'm not trying to be your best friend. I'm your dad here, but I want you to like me more than you like your mom. Because for a dad, you're behind the 8 ball in every way to begin with. I don't need to explain birds and bees to you, but like, they're close to mom. They're close to their mamas. And it's a covert battle to win their affection. And so when they come to you and say things like, Dad, Mommy said you said we can't put the trees up yet. Can we put the trees up? I'm like, yes. What about the lights? Okay. What about the trains? Okay. What about the outside lights? Okay. You just give in. So anyways, it's already been Christmas at our house for a week, unfortunately. So hopefully it's there too. We are doing a mailbag episode as we promised. I've been putting out there a couple times this week questions on the Twitter machine there at Wes Rucker TBA, which I still have not changed. I can't change to Wes Rucker WBIR because somebody took that the day that I took the job.
Which I deeply appreciate.
It's very funny.
I don't know if it's like do you think it's like a mean, like a, I hate this guy. Let me just stop him in his tracks.
Oh, yeah.
There.
Oh, no, it's dumb, but there's probably 20 fake accounts of my name that are out there. And that's just the ones that I've seen because, like, they've replied to me or, and if I change my picture, they'll change their picture to match it and try to come out there and fool people into saying that I've said something. And some of them are just like Wes Rucker Sucks accounts, which are funny also. Hey, I don't care if I'm the butt of the joke. If it's funny, if it's objectively funny, I will laugh.
That's a good attitude.
And I'll share it. I don't care. The only thing I don't like, and I shouldn't be saying this out loud, but the only thing I don't like is the ones that try very much to trick people into thinking I've reported stuff. Because I have seen something.
Well, that's fair.
I have seen something on a ticker before that said I was reporting something, and I absolutely was not. It was one of the fake accounts, and somebody fell for it and put it out there as that I'd done it. And I was like, whoa, no. That was a quick phone call to get that sorted and get that account taken down. But it was regardless, there's a lot of these things out there. So these are the ones. Hopefully these were sent to the right account. Oh, it's not going to be Wes Rucker TBA forever. I'm going to figure out a name to call it. I can't have. I have my own name, but I don't have access to that email.
What does TBA stand for?
To be announced.
Oh, okay. I see.
Because I
was thinking Thompson.
Well, because my name for years had been where I worked before. Yeah. But I knew I was coming here for a few months and I couldn't say anything about it. Like contractually, I couldn't say anything.
Yes.
So I was like, hey, I'll just say TBA. And then I didn't want to go and reserve the other name because that would give it away also.
Honestly, I personally think you stick with TBA. I truly thought it meant Thompson Bowling Arena.
Yeah, it's always Thompson Bowling Arena to me.
I thought it was like
City Center.
Yeah, I thought it was a protest of some sort.
Yeah, like I've had, what sucks is I can't have my own name because I have it, but I don't have access to that account. It's my old company's account. And so that email was obviously shut down the minute that you don't work there anymore. And so I can't access that account. Like I reserved it for like 15 years, didn't use it just for like that exact reason.
Yeah.
And then don't have access to it. Forgot to change the emails over. So we'll find some name for it. Or keep this one, whatever. But right now it's Wes Rucker TBA on Twitter/X. It is just Wes Rucker on Blue Sky. Also just not just Wes Rucker. Wes Rucker on Blue Sky. Wes Rucker on Instagram. All those things. I think there's a TikTok too, but I've never done a TikTok. Basically, every time a new social media comes out, even if I don't plan to use it, I go take my name on it so somebody else can't get it first. Learn that lesson the hard way a few times. So, yeah, it's regardless, that's how you could send some of these mailbag questions, and we're going to get to some of the best ones. We'll go here. We'll start. I'm going to try to go chronologically with the good ones. I'm trying to, anyways.
Do you want me to pull them up?
No, I got you.
Okay.
I pulled it up. First one here is from Mason Guess _Mason on Twitter. So I think it's pretty obvious that if Joey Aguilar wins his lawsuit, he will be Tennessee's quarterback one next year. If not, do you expect the Vols to go get someone out of the portal? If so, any early guesses? And if not, what are some of George McIntyre's strengths? Those are really good questions. And I would say, first off, we'll see. If Aguilar does win the lawsuit, I do expect him to come back to Tennessee. I do expect that. If he does not win that lawsuit, or if he decides that for whatever reason he wants to go pro, or let's say he wins the lawsuit, gets a year of eligibility, but Tennessee's kind of married itself to the young quarterbacks and he's got to go somewhere else to play, which I don't think anybody wants that outcome, but it's college football in 2025-26, all right? It's possible. Anything's possible. I think if Aguilar wins the lawsuit, he'll be at Tennessee next year and he'll be the starting quarterback if he wants to be. If he doesn't get it, then the problem with Tennessee in the portal is this. You can't go get like a sure thing. Because if you go get something like that, you're probably running the risk of running off either George McIntyre or Faison Brandon, the number one of the top quarterback prospects in the country, the 5-star who's coming here as a true freshman next season to Tennessee. So you can't, in my opinion, it's not good for your recruiting classes for the future if you're getting 5 stars, big-time quarterbacks, and then they don't really get a chance and then they leave. I think that's not – other schools will use that to their advantage against you, and they'll have success doing it. So you can't be – you can't be kind of a slave to the moment. You can't be kind of – you can't be in a situation where you have to play somebody who's younger even though it hurts you because it's better for – Tennessee needs to win now. So – but I don't think they'll do that. I think they would let McIntyre and Brandon battle it out and then try to find a guy who – best way to put this, if they go get somebody to the portal, and this is my opinion, it's not something I know. Remember we talked about the rules of the show. There's a difference between I know and I think. I don't know this. I think this. That what they might do is go find somebody who's good enough to play, good enough to help, but not so good or with such a big resume that he'll scare off the youngsters. You gotta thread that needle. And those are hard guys to find. It's hard to go find a guy who's old enough, mature enough, experienced enough, and has the talent to help you. But he doesn't have such a big name that you're going to lose the talented guys that you've signed. So that's my opinion. I think Tennessee would probably let McIntyre and Brandon battle it out. I think Brandon will be here in the spring. And that's 2 5-stars going at it for the spot. So I think you start a young quarterback, that's always a risk. But, if you're asking why I didn't mention Jake Merklinger, I imagine he probably would transfer. He might stick it out in the spring to see if he could win the job. But I think the other two have a bit more talent. He's a good player. There's a lot of places he could play, even at the Power 4 level. But I don't know if Tennessee's ready to go with him right now. So I could be wrong, but that's what I see happening. And McIntyre, that kid has got a ton of arm talent. He needs to keep getting bigger physically. He has, because he's 6'6", and he's like a number 2 pencil. He is skinny. But he's growing into that frame a little bit. He can make every throw on the field. He's more athletic than you think he is. He's really talented. It would not in any way shock me if he was Tennessee's starting quarterback next season. Those can be famous last words of a fool, but we'll have to wait and see. I just think if you ask me right now who's Tennessee's starting quarterback next season, I would say if Aguilar wins the lawsuit, it's him. Or if Aguilar wins the lawsuit and wants to come to Tennessee, it's him. If not, I would say probably McIntyre or Faison Brandon. That would be my guess. And those are 2 really, really, really talented kids. Next question, Chris L., who's Dog Day Berry on the Twitter machine, said Cam Carr definitely is definitely showing out for Baylor, but I'm wondering what exactly he meant by saying he wanted to find a place that believes in him and will develop his game. Barnes doesn't recruit guys he doesn't believe in, right? Will we ever know the crux of the problem there? Good question. Cam Carr has been playing really well at Baylor, and I really, really like Cam Carr as a basketball player. I always have. He is a super, super fun basketball player, super, super talented offensive basketball player. He's a bucket, guys. He's a bucket. That guy's 6'6", long wingspan, great shooter, can drive, can finish above people, good dunker. But Rick Barnes, you're right. Rick Barnes does not recruit guys he doesn't believe in. He believes in Cam Carr. He believed in Cam Carr when he signed him. He believed in Cam Carr for the year and a half he was at Tennessee. He believed in him the entire time. He also just made demands that Carr play the game a certain way consistently, and he didn't do it. And Carr did not fight through that to keep playing at Tennessee. He left midway through the season. It's not – they were shocked too because he just up and left. Like it was out of nowhere. He's there one day. The next midseason, he's not. And that was a really, really unfortunate way to end. I don't think that was the classiest way to exit. I don't think leaving – I've always been a believer. People should work where they want to work, and they should play ball where they want to play ball. I used to want to work where I worked before. Now I want to work where I work now. I work where I work now, right? That's how this goes. And that's – but there's a way to leave with kind of class, and I think that's unfortunate that it didn't happen there. But Cam Carr, he ain't a bad kid. He just – I think he could have fought through it harder, and I think Rick Barnes would have made him a more all-around basketball player. He would have made him better defensively. That was some of the issues. He didn't really always want to defend. There were some things with the scheme that he didn't quite get down, and they were all correctable. He could be scoring 20 points a game for Tennessee right now, but he's going to have to do, like Dalton Connect worked on the things that they asked him to work on consistently. And he didn't get great at some of them, but he got better. Chaz Lanier really improved himself as an all-around basketball player at Tennessee. But and we're seeing now that Gillespie from day one has done what Barnes wants him to do as a basketball player. But those things haven't happened. Didn't happen with Carr consistently, or he would have played more. He'd have been a Bishop Boswell who worked his way into the lineup and became what you're seeing now, which is a pretty solid contributor. He would have been obviously a much more prolific scorer than Boswell is because they're different players. But everybody in the Tennessee program believed in Cam Carr. They still believe in him. And they want him to have success at Baylor. Nobody's wanting him to fail. They have a certain type of guy. And they don't hit 100% on that, but they're very good at getting people who culturally are what they want them to be. And they needed to work with Carr more to get to that point, and he decided that he didn't want to do it. He wanted to go somewhere else and a fresh start, go closer to home, and that's fine. Baylor's a great program, man. They've been to Final Fours. They've won stuff. They also consistently get themselves in bad news for dumb stuff as an athletic department. But they also win in basketball. So, got a great arena close to his home. Hey, why not? I mean, actually, he's from Minnesota, but he's also been down there in Texas some. So, basically, that is one of those moves that I think worked out for everybody because Tennessee was able to get guys who are more strictly adherent to what they want a player to do, what they expect a player to do. And Carr got to go somewhere where he could kind of take the handbrake off and just go play ball the way he wants. So I think everything worked out for everybody there. Get to a couple questions now on the Blue Sky Machine. I'm going to pull these up real quick. Got a couple of good ones there. Zach Geisler, who's bobvols.bsky.social over there on the Blue Sky Machine, said, do you expect to see more of a 3-linebacker look versus Vandy? Yes, I do. I think that the way that Vandy plays, I think you want more size in the box. I think you want, it wouldn't surprise me if it's the right safety to go in there and I don't want to say spy Pavia, but be active and get him down in the open, don't let him get out in the open field. I think they'll probably throw multiple looks at him as best they can, but I think the simple answer is yes, I think you'll see a bit more 3-linebacker look at times, but I think they're more comfortable, I think, in that kind of 4-2-5 nickel. That's kind of their base defense, so they'll be in that plenty too. Like it'll be they'll try their best to do both of them. Question here from Little Travie J on Blue Sky. I think Heupel has earned the benefit of the fan base's doubt, at least until we see what he accomplishes with Faison Brandon. Assuming you are willing to entertain that thinking, what is the floor of we did thing X that would make Brandon's tenure a success? If you are a quarterback at Tennessee, you are judged ultimately by how successful the team is. There's a reason. Now, there are exceptions. Like T. Martin won a national championship. Peyton Manning did not. Right? T. Martin beat Florida. Peyton Manning did not. But Peyton Manning's still Peyton Manning. So, and he ended up winning some Super Bowls. He's the best ambassador you could possibly hope for. Set all kinds of records at the college and NFL levels. And he's Peyton freaking Manning. So, but T. Martin's also a revered figure here because his team won. He's Schuler, revered figure because his team was good. Like, Casey Clausen had some good teams here, so he's respected here. It's not exactly like, I think of it kind of a sliding scale. Like, you don't necessarily, Hendon Hooker didn't technically win a championship, but was so exciting, so dynamic as a player that, and what he meant to the program at the time, he's as respected as just about anybody they've had play for the program this century because of him being the guy that was the quarterback that got the thing really going and a guy who really should have been a Heisman finalist. He was on my ballot that year. So not in first place, but he was on my ballot. And even with that torn ACL, I think he should have been invited to New York that season. It's a shame he wasn't. His numbers, he should have been there. So it's kind of a sliding scale with different factors. I don't think there's one thing. If you don't win, like if you win a championship, you're loved no matter what. That's the one thing you can do. Go in the SEC, go in a Natty, you're beloved either way. If you don't do that, then it's kind of a sliding scale of how dynamic were you, how exciting were you, what kind of numbers did you put up. So if you don't win, so I'd say if he wins any kind of a championship, boom, great career, legacy guy. If he doesn't win a championship, but he puts up video game numbers and he's exciting and he makes other good players want to go play for Tennessee, then yeah, it's exciting. So then you're beloved too. It's kind of a sliding scale there, but that's how I would describe that. It's and again, if you want to say the jury's out on Heupel, I think that's fine. You can be, there's levels to this, right? Like you can be just a really good coach, not a great coach, and still have done your job and still, like what Heupel has done for Tennessee is something that should never be dismissed, never be disrespected. Now, eventually, he's at Tennessee, so eventually he's going to have to win some championships, or he's not going to get, you know what I mean? Like he's going to have to win championships eventually, or I'll have to go because this is Tennessee and there are standards here. That's just how the thing goes. But what he inherited, you cannot ever disrespect a man who walked into Tennessee with like 40 guys in the portal, facing possible NCAA hammer, and immediately putting a good product out on the field, and then within a couple years getting to a playoff. I mean, guys, this is at least an 8-win season or maybe 9-win season. Go to the bowl game, win that 10-game season or 10-win season. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I think 30 wins the past 3 years, pretty good. That's pretty good.
I saw a crazy stat, and it was on Twitter, so take it with a grain of salt.
Mm-hmm.
But I saw a crazy comparison amidst all this Lane Kiffin drama.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man, maybe I went and I favorited it. I would have to see. But basically it was something like, this is what Lane Kiffin's done at Ole Miss, and it was like a shorter list. It was a good list, but it was still a shorter list in 5 years or whatever. And then this is what Josh Heupel has done. I don't know how long has Kiffin been at Ole Miss? 5 years?
About that time. 5-6 years maybe.
Yeah, and
like
then
that.
here's what Heupel has done. And basically the only thing that was missing that Heupel hasn't done was win against Alabama at home or in Alabama. Yep. And then beat Georgia. And that's it. Everything else he had already done.
Lane hadn't been to the playoff as a head coach yet. I mean, if he does it this year, it'd be the first time he's done it. So
I have to go find the tweet because I was like, whoa.
It's.
I think he's taken for granted.
It is taken for granted, and that's part of it, right? Like that's if you go anywhere at a high level and you coach your play, you're going to be held to, at a place like Tennessee, a place like, Georgia, Bama, LSU, any of these places, you're held to a high standard, and sometimes you're judged a bit unfairly, and it's unfortunate, and that's why I'm glad we have this long-form kind of these shows to be able to discuss things in the detail and context and perspective they deserve. But, yes, it is very easy to overlook what Heupel has done at Tennessee. With that said, it is fair, and I've written this and I've said it. I don't hide from it. I'll go to every press conference there is, or if Heupel wants to call me, he can, and we can talk about it. I've done that with Tennessee coaches for years. I'm not afraid to say anything to anybody. What I'm saying is I think there are adjustments he'll have to make to win a championship at Tennessee. His team's going to have to get more disciplined. It's going to have to play better on the road. I think even though I understand some of the clock issues they've had this season, I've understood, even if they didn't work, I understood the thinking of what they were doing at the time. But there have been a couple of instances where I just didn't understand what they were doing. And, I think they got to rethink that. I think they got to figure out more consistently kind of short yardage, red zone offense. There's a couple of things that I think are keeping Tennessee from getting to that very top level. And I think it's fair to question whether Heupel will make the changes he needs to make to get there. That is a very fair thing to ask. It's a very fair topic of conversation. And if you're a coach or a player and you're uncomfortable with conversations like that, do not coach or play at Tennessee. Just don't. Go somewhere where you can do that, and it's okay. There are standards. And now that Tennessee's out of its own way and it's not a disaster anymore, welcome back to standards. Congratulations for making the standard higher again, but you know what? Now the bar is where it is. So they're going to have to meet that. And eventually you can meet that or your time will be cut short. Or you can meet it and Tennessee will pay you as well as anybody in America does and you can stay here as long as you want. And you'll get a little bit of leeway, but you got to win something big at some point. And so, yeah, I mean, I don't think the criticisms of this era, I think they're a little overboard in some cases, but by and large, I don't think they're unfair. I think there is a little bit of, it's just how you say it that matters. It's what you say, but it's also how you say it. And I think you can say you appreciate everything this staff has done and you appreciate the respect they've put back on Tennessee's name, which was a really hard thing to do, by the way. A really hard thing to do what they did as quickly as they did it when they walked into what they walked into. That is a hard thing to do. But, eventually you got to take it the next step. And this season, they would be in the playoff if they had just won the games that were right there to be won. And they gave two of them away. Gave three of them away, really, but two of them they absolutely should have won, and they didn't. Question from Riffle on Blue Sky. I've heard of athletes at all levels being harassed or threatened by gamblers mad at their performance. Do you know if that's happened with any Vols? Yes, but it's happened to everybody everywhere. Like if you're talking about like mafia kneecap breaking, I don't know of any stories like that. But if you're talking about people getting harassed on social media and stuff for like missing a field goal, they're not even Tennessee fans, but they missed a field goal. Somebody misses a field goal so they don't win their bet, so they go after the kicker. Yeah. Quarterback throws 3 interceptions, so people go after him. Yeah. Oh, yeah. But in terms of like Vegas kneecap break, no, I don't know about any of that. What I do know, though, is the extent to which some of the bookmakers go to get the information. Like, there's a reason why Vegas knows what it knows. There's a reason why. Now, not all the time. Sometimes lines are way off. But generally speaking, they're not in the business they're in because they get it wrong most of the time. They're pretty good at what they do. And they cast a wide net to get injury information, to get team information. I personally have had multiple people connected with sportsbooks try to get information from me and like offer me money for it. And I say no every time because I don't swim in those waters, and I just don't. I'm not ethically against gambling. I just have never done sports gambling other than NCAA tournament play pools. I'm not ethically opposed to it. No, I think it's a risk, and I think a lot of people who can't afford to gamble do, and it hurts them and their families, and it's something that can be addictive and bad. And yeah, but there's bad sides to everything. I don't think it should be illegal. I think it should be monitored carefully, and I don't think athletes should be anywhere near it at any level in any sport. But yeah, like people at Vegas have come to me, or people with books have come to me and offered me money to tell them information on who's really injured, what's going on, what do you think, like, is this line where it should be, or where should we set this line, or yeah. And if they're doing it to me, you know they're doing it to players. You know they're doing it to players and coaches. And we're seeing now that some people are taking that bait, and it's sad, but that's always been the case. I've not heard of it at Tennessee, just to be totally honest. I have not heard of it at Tennessee. But I know it's happened. Because if they're contacting me, they're absolutely contacting coaches and players. So, yeah, I mean, it's always a concern. It's always there, and you wish it wasn't, but it kind of is. Kind of is. Here's a good one from Snoop Piper on X/Twitter. Coleslaw at Thanksgiving, yes or no? Hearty no.
Coleslaw is a summer food.
Yes. I'm not anti-coleslaw. I just generally consider it kind of a waste of calories. Look at me. Look at this temple you're looking at right here. I only eat it. I don't mind the taste of it, unless there's blue cheese in it. There's 3 foods I don't eat. Blue cheese is one of them.
Oh, God, I love blue cheese. I love
blue cheese, cottage cheese, processed tuna. Don't do any of those 3. Anything else I'll eat. Those 3 things I don't. And I even smell them, and I get sick. But so I'm not opposed to coleslaw. There's other things I like more. But if there's pulled pork involved, I have to have coleslaw.
Yeah, all the way.
I dump coleslaw on pulled pork and then barbecue sauce and make like my own little concoction.
Yeah.
They're just coleslaw was built to be put on like pulled pork or grilled pork. It's a great combination.
It's just a summer food. Like, it's not something I think about for Thanksgiving. Like, Thanksgiving, I'm thinking deviled eggs. I'm thinking casseroles. I'm thinking turkey, obviously, ham.
Sweet potato, everything.
Like, I think if I was given, yeah, exactly, sweet potato. I think if I was, like, at someone's Thanksgiving and I saw coleslaw, I'd be like, that's weird. But I honestly think I'd take some. Because I'd be like, if you're so confident in your coleslaw recipe,
that's true. If you're so
bring it
confident
to Thanksgiving,
okay.
then like I have to try it.
Yeah, no, that's true.
So
that's true. Question from Graham in Vegas: was the win versus Houston a program win for Tennessee or a bad game by Houston? There was so much turnover for the Vols this year. It's hard to tell if this team is better than last year or can play up to the moment sometimes. Well, Tennessee played up to the moment last season. It just lost to a better team at the Elite Eight. I mean, the year before it lost to a better team in the Elite Eight. There were only a couple teams Tennessee couldn't beat each of the past 2 years, and they happened to run into one of those 2 or 3 teams in the Elite Eight, so they lost. A different draw, and that's a Final Four team. Now, if they had won a couple more games, they wouldn't have been bracketed with them, so that's what you can blame them for. But the Houston win was not a fluke, and I'll tell you why it wasn't a fluke, because Houston played well. Go back and watch that game if you want to. And you'd probably rather watch that than the Kansas game, which you probably want to forget for the rest of your life. But, I mean, Houston played well. Houston hit big shot after big shot after big shot in the second half. Houston is a relentless team, relentless program. Houston does not quit, and it didn't quit. It played hard, and it's got at least two lottery picks are on that team. Veterans like Tuggle and Sharp. Guys who've been around. There's a lot of Uzon. There's a lot of really, really good players on that. That's a legitimate national championship contender. And Tennessee went toe-to-toe with that team and could have played a little better, but went toe-to-toe with that team and beat it, despite shooting 5 of 17 from 3. So, yes, Tennessee can beat anyone. It absolutely can. Will it? I don't know. That we got to wait and see that. But I think it's not – that's a good basketball team. Really, really good basketball team. Let's see. Question from here's one of the, I'll say it, but I already talked about it a little bit. But a question from C5 there on X. Why is Rick Barnes still such a highly regarded coach when he can't coach through games that count the most? Is it his age? Is it fatigue? Is it the assistants? We need answers that will get us to a Final Four. Looking forward to that answer. I've sort of talked about this already, but Rick Barnes is a highly regarded coach because he's one of the best coaches in college basketball. Plain and simple. He's won 1 billion games. He's one of the winningest coaches in the history of college basketball. And hadn't had enough postseason success, and that's ultimately what people are judged on. But if you're asking people why are they – I mean, people all the time around at every level of the sport go to Rick Barnes and ask him about the stuff Tennessee does. That's who and what he is as a basketball coach. Many of his former assistants are now head coaches, and many more will be. His tree is growing, and it got some good names on it. I understand, and these things happen. This is what I'm talking about. When every time Tennessee loses a game, you get questions like this. It's fair to say you want more postseason success. That is absolutely fair. Absolutely fair. But to say, why is he regarded so highly as a basketball coach? Because he is by everybody. I mean, he's a Hall of Famer. And he's got as much energy now as people half his age. He's sharp as a tack still. And still in pretty good shape physically, honestly. I mean, I understand the frustration there. I understand wanting more postseason success. But this is the best Tennessee basketball era as a program in history. If you don't believe that, look at numbers. 3 Elite Eights in history. 3. 2 of them in the past 2 years. The past 4 years, you know who's got the most wins over top 25 teams? Tennessee. You know who's got the most wins over top 20 teams? Tennessee. You know who's got the most wins over top 15 teams? Tennessee. How about top 10 wins? Tennessee. How about top 5 wins? Tennessee. And that's over a 4-year stretch. Now, should there be more postseason success? Yes, there should be. Yes, there absolutely should be. But to say the guy, why is he highly regarded as a coach? Because he's one of the best coaches in the sport. Point blank, he just is. Doesn't mean he's perfect. Doesn't mean his postseason CV is great or good enough, because it's not. But he's still one of the best coaches in college basketball. He just is. Question from Mark McCullough. If Tim Banks leaves Tennessee as summer reporting, will the Tennessee defense be better in 2026? Please don't blame injuries, as they are always there. Yes, Mark, injuries are always there. But you don't always sink a whole lot of your NIL budget into 2 stud cornerbacks who both missed the entire season. Listen, that's big. That's important. Yes, there are always injuries. Football is a barbaric game full of injuries. Every team has them. But Tennessee sank a lot of its NIL budget, and every team has to do this, into 2 corners who are all conference, all America caliber players. Jermod McCoy has not played 1 down of football this season, and he is still, according to some people, including Mel Kiper, the number 1 corner on the board in this draft. A first-round pick in this draft. Not played 1 down of football this year. You tell me that's not a big deal in this era where everybody spreads the field. You tell me that's not a big deal. Losing corner 1 and corner 2 and not having any of them for the season, that's not a normal thing. That's not a normal every year thing. It's just not. Like, I can't. I don't want to talk down to anybody. I'm not in any position to do that. I'm not smart enough to do that. And even if I was, I don't want to do it. But you can't sit there and say that that's not a factor in this season. It absolutely is a factor. And last season, Tim Banks was a finalist for the Broyles Award for the best assistant coach in college football. Are there some things that could be done better? Yes. Do they need to be done better? Yes. Has this season been good enough defensively? No. But I don't think you can sit here and say that this stuff has no factor in it. It absolutely does. It absolutely does. So, and the answer to the other question, does it matter? Like, I don't know if Tennessee's better or worse if Tim Banks leaves, because I don't know, 1, who Tennessee's bringing in to replace him, and 2, what kind of roster that guy's going to have. Will he have the players to run the system he wants to run? That's too many unknowns to give you an answer on that. Like, I don't think somebody leaving, like, when you talk about somebody who's leaving, that's only 50% of the equation, if that. Because the other parts of the equation are who's coming in and what kind of system are they going to run, and will they be able to get the players in year 1 to run the system they want to run? The fair questions. Now, do I think Tim Banks is irreplaceable? No, I don't. But you got to go get somebody. if you're not going to have him, you got to go get somebody. And Heupel's got to go get that one right if he does. So I don't know. I mean, is there a scenario where Tennessee could lose Banks and be better on defense next season? Yes. Is there a scenario where Tennessee loses Tim Banks on defense and the defense gets worse next year? Yes. Or it could be about the same. I don't know, because there are other factors there. And people don't like those answers. They think they're fence sitting. There's no other way to be honest about it, because the roster's changed so much every single year now with the portal, unlimited transfers. I don't know who they're going to have next season. They don't know who they're going to have next season. So, talk to me in January. At that point, I'll probably have a better idea. But then again, if you'd asked me last January, I would have said McCoy has a chance to come back from his injury. And I don't think Ricky Gibson's going to miss the entire season. And I don't think Aaron Carter's going to miss a month with turf toe, really. So I don't. Another question from Mark. What do you see as the ceiling for this Tennessee basketball team? I mean, the ceiling is winning a national championship. This team is good enough with the right draw to do that. Now, Michigan and some others look really good. But Tennessee's up there in that top tier, or right close to it. The ceiling for this team is a national championship. Will it get there? I don't know. History says no. History says Tennessee's not going to get to the Final Four. That's what history says. But history also said the Cubs wouldn't win the World Series for 100 years. And right around that time, they won one again. So anything can happen. History says Leicester City can't win the Premier League across the pond. They did. So, I think the absolute ceiling for this Tennessee basketball team, winning the whole thing. Will it do that? I can't tell you. I don't know. We'll see. I think it could be in that mix. Karen Reeves, best and worst food at Thanksgiving. Sweet potatoes, number one for me. Number one with a bullet. I could eat sweet potatoes every single day of my life and never get tired of eating sweet potatoes.
See, I'm not that passionate about sweet potatoes.
I love sweet potatoes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and especially if you put a little bit of pecan or whatever, give a little crunch to them.
My grandma likes to put she's bringing it today actually.
Marshmallows or pineapple?
Yeah, marshmallows. Pineapple.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my lord.
Some people put pineapple in it. It's good. Don't knock it till you've tried it.
I just don't like sweet potatoes that much.
Don't knock pineapples and sweet potatoes until you've tried it, my friend. That you do that right, ooh, that's a great combination of flavors. Now, the other best, corn pudding for me, is corn pudding's my 1B. 1A is sweet potatoes, 1B is the corn pudding. And who was it, Elijah, who'd never heard of corn pudding? I was like, dude, how long have you been in the South? You don't know what corn pudding is?
Yeah, I've heard of it. I never tried it, though.
You Yankee. You don't even know over there, Elijah. Corn pudding? Dude, get some. It's really good. That's probably one. That's 1B for me. I'd have green bean casserole up there. I would have squash casserole up there.
Deviled eggs is number one.
Deviled eggs is a good one.
They're so good.
Deviled eggs is really good.
I know they're a controversial food, but deviled
eggs. I don't
eggs
know why. They're delicious.
Some people, I feel like
bad ones you can't touch. Bad ones are disgusting.
Oh, yeah.
Good ones though.
But when you make them correct.
Oh.
Yeah, I would say deviled eggs is number one for me.
So do you garnish them? What do you garnish them with anything?
My grandma makes them, and they have
a little paprika on it.
Yeah. I like bacon. I've had them with bacon on top. Now I will say, our news director Corey sent a picture in one of our group chats yesterday, and he had deviled eggs with olives on them, and I've
had that before. It's good.
Oh no, that's just too much.
I love olives.
So much could go wrong with your breath if you're eating deviled eggs.
Yeah, but that's not your problem. That's other people's problem.
It's just I just can't defend it.
If you're not brushing your teeth or chewing gum before you go to bed anyway, what kind of spouse are you? You savage. Savage.
It's just so the thought of olives mixed with eggs just is too much for me.
Oh, love it. I think that also. I know I'm missing something. There's definitely easily the stuffing my dad makes. It's honestly like. I don't have the recipe from him yet. I said this earlier in the week. I'm like, Dad, let's be honest, Dad. You're pretty old.
Oh my God.
Hey, we don't run from facts here. You're pretty old. At some point, I'm going to have to learn how you make this.
I don't know how much longer I have with you. Give me your stuffing recipe.
Yeah, like I need it. I need to know how you're making this dressing. I need to know.
That's hilarious.
I need to know how you're making this dressing because it is, we only get it like on Thanksgiving and Christmas, and it is just so good.
Honestly, I appreciate
It's
that.
so good. And I'm like, it's not like, I don't think he's hiding it from me. We just haven't had that talk about like, because he probably doesn't.
The reality of
there's
death.
no way that he writes it down. He doesn't write down anything. He just remembers how he does it every year. You know, a good honey ham would be on the top 10 for me for sure. Ham, well, actually, a honey and pineapple ham. I like pineapple a lot.
Yeah, I can tell I'm allergic to pineapple.
You're allergic to pineapple?
I am.
That's a thing?
Mm-hmm. I'm allergic to a lot of fruits. It's a pollen thing.
I have one allergy, pine mold. You know what that means, though? Can't do real Christmas trees.
I'm also
Every
allergic
year
to
at
mold.
Christmas.
I'm allergic to like everything. It's like I think
That's
I'm
my only one.
a medical marvel. I'm allergic to shrimp. It's just a lot.
That is a lot.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
The only thing that, like every year when I was a kid, every stinking year at Christmas, I was sick. Every year. I was sick around the holidays. Every year. And couldn't figure out why. I was like, am I just getting the
hives?
What's happening here? And then they're like, wait, it's checking for like a pine mold allergy. And that's what I had. So then we had to go fake Christmas trees every year. Although I do buy those things that are like the little sticks to make them smell real.
I'm the same way.
And I try to get ones that look as real as possible because I love
The smell,
trees.
so
I love trees. Like anything that you can grow, I love. Like I've got like my bonsai trees. I've got like 20 plus kinds of roses in my house. I've got a bunch of different Japanese maples, and I love Japanese maples. I love trees. And so I got a row of like privacy trees that I really like.
Nice.
So it's weird that that's the one thing I can't have in the house is one of the things I love most. Although my wife hates the scent of pine. So she every year, I don't think she'll watch this, so she won't know. I tell her every year that pine mold is just residue from the year before. It's not. I refresh it with some of those sticks and just don't tell her. And you would say, does that make me a bad husband? I say no. It definitely means I'm not a great husband, but I don't think it takes me to the level of bad husband that I do that. And if any of you tell her, you're on notice. This is our secret. Me, Mad Dog, the thousands of people that are going to watch and hear this. You're not going to tell my wife this. If you do, I'm gonna ask her. I'm gonna ask her who told her, and I'm gonna know. And there will be consequences. I'll leave it at that. There will be consequences. How much time we got, Maddie? We gotta have almost got this one, right?
We are at 54 minutes.
That's a pretty good guess.
That was pretty good.
Because normally we start right at. Here's the deal, guys. Inside baseball here. We start right at 3, and we can go as long as we want. But if we go past an hour, then you have to switch streams because it goes to, it goes to our 4 o'clock stuff. It goes to our main 4 o'clock stuff and then our 5 o'clock stuff and our 6. So we're only guaranteed the prime time stream slot for that hour. So unless we're just going on and it's just an epic episode, I try to keep it within that space because it's easier then, and it's easier for people who are going to cut it later to put it on at 7 o'clock and the other times it needs to go. It's nice for everybody if it can be squeezed into 57, 58 minutes, right? So I can normally look at this clock right here to my left and I can see. Right now it's not telling me anything. It's not telling me what I need. And if I were smart, I would have used my phone here or my tablet here and I would have had a countdown there. But I didn't do it. I didn't do it. Another question here. From Mike Reichert there on the Twitter machine. I know growing up that you were a Tennessee fan, and now journalistically you have to maintain neutrality. When you were on the playground playing pickup games, which Vol were you on offense and which one on defense? That is a good question because when you go to college as a journalist, you learn really quickly. I have not worn anything orange in 25 years because you're taught, like, do you want to be a fan or do you want to be a journalist actually in this business? This is what I wanted to do. So guess which I picked.
That's so weird because, I mean, it's not weird.
Some countries aren't that way. America is that way.
No, and I completely understand that. Like, you're right. Like, that's all you learn in J school. But, so, like, I know Emily is really particular. Like, she won't wear orange. Like, she'll, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
She takes it from, like, a professional approach. But if you're an anchor or you're a reporter here, you
Correct.
like
if you're a news reporter, you can do whatever you want.
No, it's like a WBIR thing. Like, you need to have, like, we tell new reporters, hey, get orange, like Vols orange outfits, because it's a matter of time before you're reporting a sports story or not sports story. You're reporting on the Vols.
Yep.
Maybe not in the way like you or Emily or Elijah do. But I always think that's really interesting.
No, it is, and I'll say this too. A lot of people don't understand this. I don't ever want them to lose. Like, that's where I went to school. Nobody wants their alma mater to lose. But if I get too personally close to a situation, that clouds the judgment I'm giving you as a fan. And that's the reason why. Like, is anybody anywhere completely objective about anything? No. That is baloney. No one is. But you prioritize things. And my priority is to do everything in my power to see everything as colors of laundry. And that way I can tell you what the orange laundry's doing. I can tell you what the red laundry's doing. I can tell you what the blue laundry's doing. And this is reality. This is what helps me do it. I've said this for years. Every program in this country, every organization in this country has good people and it's got turds. Every single place has really good people and bad people. And we're all humans. So I just tell the story of what's going on. Now, for business, purely for business, it's great when Tennessee's either doing absolutely awesome or absolutely terrible. But those are the most stressful times also as a journalist, because you're usually covering coaching searches all the time. And if your team's really good that you cover, you're worried about somebody coming and hiring that coach and paying them a lot of money, like the Vitello thing, or giving them a chance to go to the pro level, whatever it is. So those are the times when you're on guard the most, when something's either really good or really bad. So that's good for business. It's not good for us personally, not good for our families, if I'm being honest. But yeah, that's the difference. Now, in offense, defense, I don't even remember. I think everybody who grew up in the state threw a ball thought they were Peyton Manning. I mean, I think everybody who grew up in this state, dropping back deep, throwing the ball to one of their buddies, thought they were Peyton Manning. But, it's not – everybody thought they would be, Allen Houston out there taking a three. So, like young kids probably were with Chris Lofton or Slay or somebody else. I'm sure that was like that. Or they're Connect now. Probably I think they're Connect or Lanier or Zakai Ziegler. But I do separate the things. And it's weird because, like, the only time in this business I've ever been even a little bit starstruck or nervous, 2 times. First time I met Pat Summitt, that was a little bit intimidating.
That's awesome that you met her.
And I covered her for years.
That's amazing.
And unless she's coaching you or you did something she didn't like, one of the sweetest human beings God ever created. But you got that stern when it was business time now. But she quickly disarmed that, and like she was easy to cover, great to cover. Get a hold of her anytime you need something, great. So that was one, and Hank Aaron was the second. My hand, hello, Mr. Aaron, like my hand is shaking like this. He's like, "Yes, all right, you can call me Henry or Hank." I said, "I'll stick with Mr. Aaron for now. You're Hank Aaron." So I'm gonna one of the best baseball players of all time, one of the best people who's ever played the game of all time, one of the most morally strong and righteous people who play the game of all time. And I'm a baseball guy from a baseball family. But then I ended up interviewing for a few stories when I did some stuff covering the Braves here and there. And Dude could not have been nicer. Rest in peace.
Only famous Vol I've met, not on purpose, on accident. Philip Fulmer would...
Old teddy bear. Old blue eyes.
Philip Fulmer would come to the Hardin Valley Double Dogs, which is where I worked for 5 years.
There you go.
Before WVAR, and I would be his server. And he would bring his whole family in. He's very nice. I mean, his family's nice.
Yes. No, he's...
Yeah.
I
just remembered it was like this weird, like, awkward, like... Because it would be a full restaurant. I mean, we're in the Double Dogs at Hardin Valley. We're at a sports bar. And... Because I'm assuming his family lives out there. And so, like, the restaurant would be full, but it was, like, very obvious that, like, Philip Fulmer was in the building. Like, it was just, like... It wasn't like we treated him any different. I mean, I like, it was so weird for me because I was his server, and so I like was
and a good
like,
tipper, I bet.
Yeah, he was an average tipper.
Okay, average is fine. Average is fine.
Would
average is not bad.
Truthfully, expect a little bit more, but that's fine.
I will tell him that next time I see him. 100%.
No, don't. But
I'm not gonna tell him your name.
But I'm
gonna tell him.
It was he was nice. Anyway, it's just so weird being the server for like someone you know. Like I was like taking his order and like, oh yep, Philip Fulmer drinks Diet Coke.
There you go.
Heck yeah. I actually think I don't remember. It's been so long. I don't think he got a beer. I was curious to know his beer order, but I know
he would always be careful about some things like that.
Yeah.
Around in public and stuff.
I only served him like once or twice.
But it's weird doing what we do. Like, you just get numb to everything. I've sat down one-on-one with, like, Lance Armstrong, and it's like you're just interviewing somebody about something. Like, it's not you're just talking to somebody. That gets out of you real quick. But Hank Aaron and Pat Summitt were the only times. And there's other – I mean, I'd have to go down the list. There's a bunch of pro athletes and even political figures and other people that have been around. But you don't – you remember, like, if they get a paper cut, Red's coming out too. Like, it's not – you don't – and I think a lot of them – some of them are prima donnas who do want to be treated differently. A vast majority of them are humans who just want to be dealt with like they're a regular human because most people don't do that to them. And they like that. Like, it reminds them of before they were who they were and people just talk to them.
I remember Dollywood always does, like, when they start they close for the winter or, have slower hours and then open back up for the season. They do, like, a media day, and we were like, oh, we should send... I was just new as digital director and like, oh, we should send a media person with them. And I was thinking about going myself because I was like, what is the chance that I might meet Dolly? But I was like, it's not going to happen. It hasn't happened before. So I sent one of our former employees, Diamond, and I'm off. I think it was around my wedding. I'm off and I'm looking on Instagram and there's a picture of her with Dolly Parton. And I was like, no way, dude. No way. I was angry, but I'm happy for her that she got to meet.
No, there's cool like doing what we do. Like Dolly. I've talked to her. I've talked to let's see who else. Like Dale Earnhardt. Back in the day, like a couple other NASCAR drivers. Like, because I covered just a tiny bit of that. Like I've been able to. It's been awesome. Like, and you do appreciate the moment, but you just. You're taught very clearly that, like, I don't want to cover Major League Baseball. I covered the Braves for a little bit. Do some feature stuff on them. But I'm a Cubs fan, have been my whole life, and I don't want to give that up. So, like, I don't want to be a pig who goes to the bathroom where I eat. I like to have the things that I cover, and then I like to have the things where I get to be a fan like everybody else, like Cubs, Arsenal, U.S. Soccer, all those things. I don't really want to cover those things because I want to separate them, because I think to be a journalist,
you want to be unfair about it.
But there's two things to that. One, I think it's good. You want to be fair to everybody, and you also. But I think there needs to be a part of you that's a fan about something, not what you cover, but something. Because if you don't, I think that detaches you mentally from the fans. Like, to understand how a fan thinks, you got to be a fan about something, and you got to care emotionally about something, because if you don't, then you lose touch with the people, like how they think about things. Like, you can, you can't think of it like binary like code or something. Like 1 0 1 0 0 0 1. You can't. If you do that, then that's how like AI would take all of our jobs if we became like that. which it will eventually, but I think we can slow it down for a bit. So, I mean, yeah,
But when you're an actual fan, you feel. There have been times that I have been stupid angry when it comes to watching, my favorite team.
Probably a lot of anger with the Jags. Probably a whole lot of anger.
But my God, the feeling of when every once in 4 years we have just a random win against a good team. That was us with the Chargers. It
was a good win
2 weeks ago, and then the Chiefs earlier this season. You feel like God. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, you're like Thanos with the stones. Like
nothing could. But the lows, dude.
But that's what makes us human. You have to be able to. That gives you empathy. Gives you empathy for people, and that's why again I try to explain to people like I'm not like. Not being a fan doesn't mean you want somebody to lose or that you don't care. You cover these people every day. A vast majority of them, very good people. You're happy when they're happy. But you can't get so close to them that if they do something wrong, you're not gonna mention it, or you're gonna go to bat for them, or you're gonna be their mouthpiece. They don't pay me. Like WBR, Tegna pays me. The company I used to work for, they paid me. Like they pay me, and what they want is news, and what they want is analysis, and they want it fair, and they want it straight up, right over the top. And if you get too close to somebody, you can't do that. And I used to think there was no place for like fan-run media when I was early in my career, just out of J school, really hard-nosed about this. I've softened on that over time. Like I'm totally fine with fan-run media, but I think it should be clearly identified. And I think if you're not willing to ask a tough question or be critical, you shouldn't be in the press box. I do still believe that. Now, you can be a fan, and sometimes you can be a fan, and that will make you even harder than a regular journalist. Like, because you're mad. When they mess up, you are mad, and you want answers. And I get that. And I think there's a place for that. But if you are like fan run, or if you are a fan organization, you need to be identified as that. Like, and people need to know clearly that, like, I wish there were different fonts that we could use, like, so people could see, like the old sarcasm font or something, like that people could see the difference. And that way they would see, okay, here's this one, here's that one. Now I can decide, which is what I would. It's not practical, but it's what I would like for that to be identified. And, just like, don't cheer in the press box, don't wear orange in the press box. Those are non-negotiable. Those are just like, you cheer for a team in a press box, you're getting kicked out. Like, it's just plain and simple. Cheer for a team in a press box, you're getting kicked out. That's a rule across the country. You don't do it. Although some places like Kentucky football, it happens all the time, just to be honest. There are some places where it's like, they don't enforce this. But I do think there's room for everybody at the table. But I think it needs to be identified, and I think you need to be clear about who you are. And I think if you're not going to be willing to criticize, then don't get in the box and swing if you're not willing to take a swing when you need to. And this is the last thing I'll say about it. One of the old school values that I still have and I will never lose: never say anything that you wouldn't say to somebody's face. Never write something that you wouldn't say to somebody's face. And show up every day. If you are going to criticize and you have access to a credential, be an adult, go to the building, let people have an opportunity to respond to you if they want. Don't write a story without at least asking them for comment. That's why we say person declined to comment. That's us telling you we asked them or tried to and they didn't answer. And then also on top of that, especially as a columnist, if you're going to be critical, show up in the building and make sure that you are there. If somebody wants to confront you, if somebody wants to set the record straight with you, you'll let them look you in the eye and do it. And then make sure that they have, in this era, make sure they got your phone number. Day or night. Anybody I cover, you got a problem? Call me. We'll talk off the record. Or if you want to go on the record, we'll go on the record. But that's the part of it that's an old school value that I have. Like, I do not like it when there are media who criticize people and act tough, but then won't go show up to be fair and show up and let somebody respond. That's child's play. Don't do that. Go be an adult. That's end speech. That's how I feel about that. Would I go Forrest Gump and say that's all I have to say about that? Guys, I hope that you're having a very safe holiday weekend. I hope you're having a very fun holiday weekend. If you're spending it with the people that you love, even better. Even better. Enjoy every moment you have. I haven't had my grandmother for 10 years now. Still talk to her every day. And you think about her in moments like these, on days like this. So enjoy the people you have while you have them. Enjoy everybody. Be safe. Have a good time if you want. Don't get on the road. There's plenty of Ubers out there. Call them. Plenty of Lyfts out there. Call them. Plenty of people who will be a DD for you. Call them. Have fun. Don't be one of these young people who comes in town for Thanksgiving and parties with their old buddies and gets behind the wheel. Don't do that. Be safe. If I see you all this weekend, it'll be good to see you down there at Neyland Stadium on Saturday. We'll be back here Monday to talk about it either way. Either way, we'll be right back here in about, let's see, 40, what are we calling it, 71 hours? Is that right?
I'm not good at math.
24, 48, 72, minus 1, 71. We'll see y'all in about 71 hours. Maddie, thank you for helping. Thank you for coming in on this Thanksgiving morning and helping us do this. The people are very appreciative. I'm very appreciative.
You're welcome.
I know that it was not the most convenient thing. I very, very much appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening. See you in about 71 hours.